to be at SoFi Center right here in our own backyard in Palm Beach Gardens on the campus of Palm Beach State College, and to just sort of see. It's like seeing the television show within the event, because you see all the cameras around and everything, and you've got such close access to these golfers. They're like right in front of you, especially the media. Like they walk right by you behind the scenes as they head on out. Like it's just an experience that's nothing like the PGA Tour or any of the major events that I've ever covered. Even the live events don't have this feel. And, of course, Match 4 was Tiger versus Rory.
Yep.
Really, Jupiter Links versus Boston Common Golf. So that's Rory's. And it was great. It was they played right to there was some great putts. Rory and Tiger exchanged big-time putts and to tie a hole. And Adam Scott made a massive putt to put Boston in a good position. And then it was Tom Kim, I believe, who...
He almost had that ace, too.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that was cool. That was almost the first TGL ace. But even crazier, and this is smart because my daughter is talking about TGL. There was a bunch of 20-something, the people the girls in our newsroom were excited because I was talking to one of the One Direction guys, Niall Horan, who I literally, if he'd walked by me, and I would not have realized that it was him because he just, there was, everyone there was sort of, there's a lot of bigwigs there. Let's put it that way. There's people coming out of the VIP area.
Since you've been there, you've seen Serena Williams, Governor Ron DeSantis, Big Papi.
Yeah. DJ
Khaled.
DJ Khaled is there. There's always
another one.
People you wouldn't expect to be there.
Yes.
We'll get to Mike Trout a little bit later. He was there. But I did catch up with Niall Horan. So I was made aware that he was there. And so I made sure I Googled him just to sort of remind myself what this cat looked like. Because I know One Direction music, but
he don't know what they look like.
Yeah,
not necessarily
Yes.
individually. I wouldn't if I ran into them in a Chipotle, I wouldn't quite know. Anyway, so I saw him coming out of his party outside. What a nice guy, man. Yeah. And he had a handler with him, and they were like, 1 minute to tee off. And I was like, would I be able to interview you really quick? And so the handler was like, yeah, 1 or 2 questions. He was behind me. He was a big guy. I wasn't going to mess with him. And I got 2 questions in, and he gave me the tap, like this is the last question tap. But Niall was such a great guy. So here's my conversation with him. Short, albeit, but sweet conversation about him being a limited partner in Boston Common Golf. That's one of the teams who played Match 4. What do you think of this whole? What made you decide to invest in this in the first place, and what do you think of it so far?
I'm good friends with Rory, and Rory was starting the whole league, and obviously getting in with Fenway Sports Group, who put the Boston team together. And the minute I met those guys, I was all in. Just the whole idea of trying to revolutionize the game in this way, and having a good friend, and a crew like Fenway Sports involved, it was a no-brainer.
You're a guy who knows entertainment and how to entertain. What do you see in this as the future of golf?
The technology is just insane. Last year was the first time that more shots were hit indoors than outdoors, and this is that on a different level. And tonight is going to be absolutely amazing. We got Tiger and Rory going head to head, and two great teams, and it's going to be a great time. The atmosphere is going to be amazing.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. He was there with Noah Kahan, another big musician.
Was Shaka Khan there?
Shaka Khan, no relation to Shaka Khan.
Maybe next week.
I don't think so. I don't think. I won't name any names, but there was a 24, 25-year-old female who works in our newsroom who came up to me the next day and said, "Oh my God, you spoke with." I was going to say Noah Kahan with Niall Horan,
Shaka Khan.
That would have just been and went into started welling up in tears talking about how I interviewed. Yeah.
Wow.
So this guy, he's got some power.
He's got some pull.
Smart to get him involved from the ground level. and he couldn't have been more gracious. He just wanted to go watch his team. That's why
I mean,
his handler had him out of there pretty
I
quick.
think it's smart for the business as well to have all these big names, show up and have them around, have them invest, because
to show golf is like if it was just a bunch of golf people who
It's like the Waste Management Open, but for Palm Beach County.
yes.
Yeah, and you see musicians, you see popular musicians, you see players from other sports, Serena, you see, again, Mike Trout, who I'm going to play you a bite from in a little bit, but the TV numbers have been rather impressive. They couldn't have asked for anything more than this. Tiger, by the way, and Rory both said Match 4 was exactly what they envisioned for TGL. It was exciting, it was close, there was good banter back and forth. And I could tell it got their competitive juices flowing.
Yeah, so the match on Monday averaged out 864,000 viewers for that match. It peaked at 1.1 million.
Wow, there you
from
go.
8:30 to 8:45. So that was definitely near the end of it when it really started to heat up.
And it's beating like some big college basketball games too that are on ESPN.
And to compare it with prior matches, the debut had an average of 919,000, and then Tiger's debut was 1 million. So I think that's really what they're looking for. When it was neither of them, it was in the 700,000. So, they got to be able to build that without the two of them in it, or with only one of the two in it. So,
when Harry Styles hears these numbers, he's going to be calling up.
He's going to show up.
Niall.
He's gonna perform a concert out there.
Yeah, I was going to say they might start doing performances either before, after, or right in the middle.
Going to keep getting bigger. I mean, Shaka Khan might even show up. Shaka Khan might show up.
But Genghis Khan? What about Genghis Khan? Let's name all the Khans.
Shaka Khan, let me rock Shaka Khan.
Somebody who did show up, as you've already mentioned, Mike Trout.
Yes. Oh boy. Mike
investor
Trout. He
of
had
Jupiter
a really
Links.
big security guard,
Yes.
like right behind me while I was speaking with him. So anyway, they had him and Big Poppy had gone out to speak to Sports Center because Mike Trout is a brand new limited partner with Tiger with the Jupiter Links Golf Club. So he was there. Big Poppy, I think he's just along for the ride. I could be wrong there. I think he was just there to enjoy it along with his buddy.
He does have the
everything.
Boston tie, though.
He was there. He was definitely cheering on Boston.
I think he played for the Red Sox, right?
I thought you were going to say he played for the Boston Common Golf that night.
He might.
Yeah. He did play for the Sox. Fenway is, a big. The company is the owner of Boston Common Golf. But on the Jupiter side, Mike Trout. It was great. I grabbed him. I wanted to ask him. I basically had to ask one of them for an interview, and I went with Mike Trout because he's a megastar, current megastar. The local angle with him owning a part of Jupiter Links Golf, and also, as you'll see in this interview, local tie of a kid that we've covered for years around here, who also plays for the Angels. So again, there was a big, meaty-looking, scary guy tapping my shoulder.
Not the same guy, different guy.
Different guy. This guy gave me a harder tap. Third question, so I had to wrap it up pretty quick. But Mike Trout was very, very accommodating. So here's my interview with him.
All right, well, this is pretty cool. You're seeing the facility. What got you interested in Jupiter Links?
Yeah, Tiger mentioned it, and when Tiger mentions something, you look into it. So it's pretty cool to be ownership of it, limited ownership, and just be here and see everything. I tell a lot of people before I got here, it's like seeing it on TV, it's one thing, but once you come in here and see the arena and seeing how big it is, and seeing the layout, it's pretty awesome.
How far could you see this going, and where could this take golf?
Yeah, I think it's good for the fans. I think it's going to be up close. You get to interact with them, see their personalities a little bit. And it's when they're on the golf course, it's pretty serious. I think they're more laid back on this stuff. So.
Are you tempted to get out there and maybe hit some home runs into that thing?
No. I'm sure I'll hit some soon, but I don't know about tonight.
Can I ask you about Nolan Shanawell? He's a local kid who we've covered for years. What do you see in him? I know he's going into his third season. What's been impressive for you? Yeah,
I like Nolan. I think the biggest thing that people don't see, the maturity in the clubhouse, and just working hard every single day. I think when he first came up, he was kind of holding back a little bit, shy a little bit. Now he's starting to open up a little bit and wanting to learn. So it's pretty cool to see him grow. He's got a bright future.
Yeah, Nolan, just a ridiculous career at FAU with his average over. Do you have his numbers there by any chance? Or?
I do have his numbers from when he first hopped into the league. I mean, it felt like in no time he gets drafted, single A, couple games, double A, couple games, triple A, and that's it.
Quickest guy to the majors after being drafted in 3 years at the time, I think, and he got hits in 30 consecutive games.
Yep.
I mean, he was, you know, I think his slash line started with a 503 or something at FAU. So he was just his on base percentage was just bonkers
Through the roof.